Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Answers Yes podcast, where we will explore the cause and effect of just saying yes in your everyday life or in business. I will dig into topics that are not just stimulating, but will challenge you to be better in everything you do. The podcast is based on the simplicity of saying yes to opportunities you might encounter every single day. I'm your host, Jim Riley. Join me in my first series titled Blue Collar Redefined. Welcome to the show, the Answers Yes podcast. Here we are on a rainy Southern California day. If you're anywhere in Southern California, actually from watching the news, if you're anywhere in the United States, you're encountering some kind of crazy weather. We've had 4 days straight rain here. I'm pretty close to Mount Baldy, and they're getting snow today, so it's exciting to watch the winter months pass by. Of course, I'm looking forward to spring and summer so I can enjoy my outdoor sports that I love so much. Speaking of which, I briefly touched on it last week, but I had an injury at the Southern California Spartan race in Chino, back-to-back podiums, but day 2 cost me a knee injury. Looks like it's probably a minor tear on the meniscus. I've got a MRI scheduled for this Friday, so we'll see what they say. It's a bummer because I'm like a caged animal at the house, wanting to go out and run and enjoy my training. Spartan season just kicked off with that Chino race, and I would have had one coming up this weekend. So it's frustrating, but I'm learning a little bit about myself and having to implore some patience and discipline in recovery and what that looks like, and learning a lot about knee injuries. It's amazing how many people have told me over the years that they've injured their knee. And although I always respect somebody with an injury, I just didn't quite understand what it meant. And now I do. Fortunately, I don't think mine is as bad as most people's injuries, so I'll probably fare out okay. But we'll be looking forward to getting out there and racing some more Spartan races. Looks like I'm going to push until March. There's a race out in Las Vegas for any of you Spartan race fans. Hopefully I'll see you in Vegas. If I'm not recovered by then I'm going to push out to Montana, which is the following month. So, hey, by the way, I've mentioned before, if you're interested in doing a Spartan race and I'm back fully recovered, I would love to do it with you. So there we go. I was thinking about my show and kind of a funny little habit I have, and nobody's called me out on it that listens to the show, but I do realize, and I mean to correct it, that we've got our commercials in the beginning, thanks to our sponsors. Appreciate that they've come on board and have supported this show. But I realize that I do an intro, which is now, and I always say, hello, welcome to the show. And then when I get on the phone with my guests, I say, hello, welcome to the show. And I realize I do that twice. And, I'm just trying to figure this out still. We're 60. This is our 40th Answers Yes podcast, and I think I've done almost 30 Baja sessions. And, we're, like I said, we're trying to get this thing figured out and do a good job and bring some great interviews. And these little idiosyncrasies that they've nailed in radio and some of the big podcasts, I just need to keep working. But it goes along with what I say, or what I've said most of my life, is sometimes you just got to start doing something and work through the process till you get good at it. And that's kind of my point with the podcast. I just jumped in with both feet. I did my first show, and from there the guests started lining up. And here I am, 60 plus episodes later and still figuring it out. But yet I've had a ton of compliments. We've got some sponsors, as I just thanked some for the show. And we've turned this into a little business here. And it's exciting for me, and I love the podcast world and what I'm doing, and I hope that I can achieve some success in it. Why not? Why not make a living at doing these podcasts and bringing great stories and people's lives to you, the listener, in the long term? So that's my goal. And, being able to point out some of the little flaws. I would love to have a better studio and always have incredible sound quality, but I realize that that's going to come in time too. So thank you for hanging tight with us and undergoing the process of learning and what we're trying to do here. And I hope that if you've got a project that you're thinking about, that you take this as a lessons. Just jump in. I've talked to a lot of people that are writing a book or wanting to write a book, and they don't know where to start, or they just keep putting it off. And I hear them talk about it forever and forever. Just start writing. Which brings me to a topic in a chapter in a book that I'm reading. So if you remember, I had Alan Stein Jr. on the show not too long ago, and he had just launched his book called Raise Your Game. And if you don't remember, he is a performance coach for some of the top NBA basketball players. And you need to go to his website and check out all the players he's worked with. I know on the cover of his book, he's got a great quote from Kevin Durant. I just dug into it about a week ago, and I'm on the 3rd chapter. No, I haven't gotten very far because I think I've got 3 or 4 books going right now. But chapter 3 is about discipline. And what I like is at the end of his chapters, he's got some key points and things to remember. And the key point of discipline is create habits and structure that will give you an edge in your business. Discipline means having, maintaining, and refine a system in place to work on your game. I've talked about before how in the morning I've got kind of the old school yellow pad that I'll write down, what I need to accomplish that day. And then I work through it. Sometimes I'll do it the night before, and then I'll work through it so that at the end of the day, I'm looking back at all the things that I achieved. And it's a process for me, and it's having that discipline each day to do that and know, for example, I've got 5 businesses running right now, different types of projects, all revenue streams, and that's why I call them businesses. But it requires a discipline each day to approach each business to the level that it needs to be approached, spend the appropriate amount of time on it, and continue to move that project forward and excel for my customers. People are relying on me to do something, and having the discipline every day to do that on top of my workout regimen and my kids and everything, without the discipline and a process, I would not be successful doing it, and my family would be a disaster, and I wouldn't be achieving any of my goals. So I love his point about discipline, maintaining and refining a system in place to work on your game. And that, to me, that yellow pad, working through that every day and then preparing for my next day is part of my discipline. And here's the things that he says to remember, which I also love. There's no such thing as finding success. As you stumble upon it, you create success by building the habits to reach it. And that's, again, part of what I'm doing every morning is building my habits, right? It's the consistent habits that make the best the best. Build a schedule and a structure of habits that put first things first. Knock out distractions. Consider how to spend your time wisely and effectively. Be ruthless in trimming the fat from your day. I've also talked about this before, where I'm really hypersensitive about trimming the fat on looking at social media too much, because I can burn an hour real fast by just looking through crap on the internet and realize, wow, I just wasted an hour where I could have been efficient doing something. And, so anyways, trimming the fat from your day. And then finally, his last remember point was use your unseen hours, make the most of your time. Those at the top, do not waste a second. Focus on what matters. One of the things that I do in off-road racing, or at least the last 12 years of off-road racing, and I do now in Spartan racing, is I focus on every second that counts. I've lost races by less than 30 seconds, both in Spartan and in the off-road vehicle. After hundreds of miles in the vehicle or 3 to 13 miles in the Spartan races, and you realize every second counts in that race, because every turn, if you can trim a second, or you catch yourself dozing off for a second in the moment and you realize, wow, I'm not running as fast as I can. All those seconds save time and put you on top. And if you approach your day and your business that way, you realize, hey, I can burn a lot of time doing nothing. And if you're looking at being successful and creating revenue and time and personal enjoyment and hitting your goals, you need to structure your day so that you're focused on that every day. And I know that sounds difficult, and it also sounds like a lot of discipline, but in time, it will become a habit. And within those habits become ease of making it happen, and it becomes second nature. So then it no longer becomes like a job trying to stay disciplined. It just becomes part of your process. And you will find that you will have a much more enjoyable life and a lot more time on your hands to be doing the things that you want to do consciously. So anyways, a little bit about discipline and me and how I employ them. If you haven't gotten Alan Stein's book, Raise Your Game, I would encourage you to get on his website. I will say on the show, the first person that emails me their name and address and tells me they want a copy of the book, I will send the first person a copy of his book. We'd love to do that. It's part of Alan's process. You can either email me or DM me on any one of my social media forums. Like I said, the first person to do that after hearing this show, I will send them a book, okay? We've talked to a lot of guests on this show about their life and where they headed and their success stories. And hopefully that's encouraged many of you to get off your butts, BUT', and go out there and do something. This show today is for those people that are out there doing it now. Maybe they've created a business. Maybe they have a startup business. They're just getting going and they don't know where to go in terms of marketing or how to outreach or, what the next steps are. Kim Barrett is a marketing expert. He's been doing it for a long time, and he provides a wealth of knowledge. And although I am a marketer by trade, I'm always looking to learn more, and I certainly gained a lot from Kim on today's show. And I hope that you will as well. And if his services are something that you're looking for, great. He tells you how to get a hold of him and reach out, and maybe he can make a difference in your own business. So today is more about providing a tool for you in your business to get you going or get you off and running if you've made that big step. So I hope you enjoy the show. Kim is calling in from Australia, so let's turn the show over to that phone call now. Well, welcome to the show. It's been a fantastic week so far, and we've got another great call in. We've got Kim Barrett on the line all the way from Australia today. Kim, how are you doing today?
I am doing super well. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're calling from sunny Southern California. We're having a perfect day over here. What are things like over there in Australia this time of year?
It's beautiful. I don't know the conversion to Fahrenheit, but it's 30 degrees Celsius, nice and warm, perfect beach weather. We actually have Australia Day tomorrow, so it means every man and his dog goes to the beach and enjoys.
It sounds like fun. I had the distinct pleasure of racing. I race off-road cars professionally, and I had the pleasure of racing with three Aussies last March. You've got some championship NASCAR racers down there. One guy goes by the name of Cam Waters from NASCAR.
Yep.
Jocko, who is a BMX champion, kind of an X Games superstar from there. He raced with me. And then Ferdinand Ogle, he is a skateboard professional. I actually think he's from Mexico, but spends time in Australia. But I had these guys up here in Las Vegas, and we raced together. What a great group of people representing your country, man.
Oh no, it's glad to hear. We there's always mixed responses. Either there's the crazy Australian party animals, or there's the the quality good guys as well.
Yeah, well, I would say that Jocko was kind of the party animal, and we expected that. But I will tell you, when it came down to racing the famous Mint 400 out of Las Vegas, those guys all put their game face on, and they did one hell of a job. We finished the race 17th out of 60. I didn't even think we could do it because these guys had never driven a car like mine. But anyways, great representation from your country, and a pleasure to have you on the line.
Oh, thank you.
So you run the best way to describe it would be what, a marketing company that's online worldwide?
Yeah, exactly. So we help business owners be able to focus on doing what they do best by taking their marketing off their hands. So we focus on Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, and building funnels to allow them to drive good quality traffic so that they can just do what they do best, and we take care of the rest for them.
Incredible. So I think, if you're a listener today, and typically we have people tell their stories so that you can extract some information and learn from people's experiences. And I want to dig into Kim's background. But the purpose of today's show is to offer a tool for those of you that listen and have created your own business. Maybe you've listened to the show long enough where you've got the courage to go out there and start your own business, and or you're in a position of authority where you can make some decisions about how to grow your business through marketing. And we're going to talk to Kim later in the show about that. But Kim, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background and some of your story before you started this business and are doing what you're currently doing.
Yeah, well, I'll take you back to where I kind of first started in online marketing, which was when I was 15 years old. So when I was a little kid, I used to always try and find ways to make money. So I would, I went to school and probably not the best thing to do, but I copied games of the game Pokemon onto like the old 3.5-inch floppy disks. So I'd take them to school and sell them and try and make some money when I was walking around, and would go and buy in Australia a big thing is fundraising chocolates. So when you're in primary school, everyone has like a big box of chocolates they bring, and they're raising money for, might be like their football club or something like that, and they would bring them in to raise money. So I would get their empty boxes, and then I would go to the shops, buy chocolates, fill it up, because it would sell them more than what they would cost, obviously.
Yeah.
And I would come away with some profit. So I'd always try and find little ways to make money or have a little business as we went. But when I was 15 years old, I used to go on, this is back before Facebook, I used to